It's more than 2 weeks since the first reports of around 200 Chinese vessels anchored at Whitsun Reef in the South China Sea. Many are still there. China says they are fishing boats sheltering from stormy seas. The Philippine government believes they are manned by a Chinese militia and it wants them to leave, saying the area is within the Philippines' economic zone. Defense Secretary Delphine Lorenzana believes China is attempting to occupy more of the disputed waterway, a charge Beijing denies.
菲方应该
The Philippine side should view this issue objectively and correctly, immediately stop unwarranted hype up, and avoid negative impacts on bilateral relations and the overall peace and stability of the South China Sea.
Beijing continues to assert it owns most of the South China Sea, despite that claim being rejected by an international tribunal at The Hague in 2016. In Manila, there is growing anger against the Chinese embassy after it issued a statement criticizing the Philippines Defense Secretary's comments as unprofessional and perplexing. There have been calls for the Chinese ambassador to be expelled, with embassy officials warned they were in the country as guests of the Philippine government. The Philippine Foreign Affairs Office said it will launch diplomatic protests about the Whitsun Reef occupation.
Unprecedented. So why? Why the gall to speak against a member of our cabinet who is simply defending national interests, standing up for the territorial integrity of the Philippines based on international law?
Across Asia, other countries are also protesting China's military expansions. China held naval drills involving an aircraft carrier battle group near Taiwan, while Japan criticized what it called Chinese Coast Guard's aggressive behavior around the Senkaku Islands. Meanwhile, the U.S. Navy carrier Theodore Roosevelt and its strike group re-entered the South China Sea over the weekend, its second appearance this year. China says this is highly provocative, but the U.S. Navy says it has a right to operate in the South China Sea, underlining the importance of freedom of navigation in international waters. In the Philippines, though, much of the blame is still directed towards the government. People here say the territories under the control of the Philippines in the South China Sea have never been more threatened, and that President Rodrigo Duterte's so-called pivot to China in 2016 is turning out to be a capitulation. Jamela, Alindogan, Al Jazeera, Manila.